Hey everybody, what's going on? Happy Wednesday, June 23rd. Welcome to the StudentLoanJustice.org live stream. My name is Alan Collins, founder of StudentLoanJustice.org. We are the oldest, largest, in many ways only true grassroots group actually fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. So let me just get right into it tonight, folks. First thing, we have an announcement. There is a major national media outlet who you've heard of. They are looking for people under the age of 23. So 22 and under, so-called Generation Z people, who I guess are probably either between undergrad and grad school, or who knows, whatever their deal is. If you know anybody who fits that description, they're willing to be interviewed by a prominent, I'd say well-respected national media outlet, well-known. Send me an email, tell me a little bit about your situation, and do that. Justice@studentloanjustice.org, and I will forward it along. If you're outside of that age group, sorry guys, we take them as they come in, and this one, they are just looking for Generation Z. So I think 23, like if you're going to turn 23 this year or something, then you're Generation Z. So I had a pretty good talk with the producer, and she seems like they're gonna give a pretty fair shake to the borrowers. We'll see. You never know, but. Anyways, yeah, your story needs to be told. Obviously important what's happening with the younger people these days that are screwed. And by the way, the younger people are way more screwed than the older people. The older people are screwed, don't get me wrong. There are more people over 50 than under 25 with student loan debt. More people over 35 than under 35. But people 50 and over were borrowing a tiny fraction of what is being borrowed today. So you don't know how screwed you are, but you are. Maybe you do, but you probably don't. At 22 or 23, you have no idea how vicious this predatory lending system is yet. That's coming, but hopefully not, because hopefully we're going to get these loans gone, and we're going to get standard consumer protections returned as a result of our efforts. Maybe, hopefully, as a result of your interview. So... And if you know anybody that fits that description, same thing. Justice@studentloanjustice.org. So, okay. If I can see your comments, I will respond to them. I'm going to try and keep it really short tonight. This morning, we testified before the Department of Education's Negotiated Rulemaking Committee. And a bit of history. So this committee, negotiated rulemaking, this informational session, whatever you want to call it, it's been going on for the whole time that we've been doing student loan justice, like since before 2005, I believe. Clearly, this negotiated rulemaking session has done nothing good over those decades, as we went from like $350 billion of student loan debt to $1.6 trillion in federal loans, another $2 trillion, or another couple hundred billion in private student loans. So to say that I don't have a whole lot of love or even respect for this, I would say, fiasco, is probably an understatement. And I think that comes through in my testimony. They had very narrowly tailored topics that they required us to agree to speak to, rather than freewheeling. So I did the best that I possibly could, and I hope that you're pleased. I will post the link to it. We have it on Vimeo, thanks to Heather. 5-minute presentation. Most people I'm hearing from said they were thrilled. They think it was really strong. But, all I did, guys, I pointed out 5 facts. And I'm just going to redo those 5 things that I pointed out today. These are 5 facts that anyone and everyone should commit to memory, understand, and be able to make themselves. first thing I said, as I said earlier, more people over 50 than under 25 with student loans. This is not a young person's problem. More people over 35 than under 35. So the majority of student loan borrowers are over the age of 35. That's significant. And in both cases, the older group owes far, far more, despite having borrowed far or even far, far less. So something is just badly wrong with this lending program. Second point I made, impact by location. And that's the recent second piece of research that we've uncovered over the past few months, showing that over a third of U.S. states owe more than their entire state budget in student loan debt. And these states are primarily historically red states. Republican governors, nearly every one of these states. So Georgia and Texas and Alabama and North Carolina and Tennessee and South Carolina and Indiana and Missouri, Colorado, a couple of blue states, Michigan, kind of borderline, New Hampshire, borderline. But these are primarily red states, guys. So red states are being screwed, and conservatives, Republicans everywhere should take note of that second fact. Third fact, all of the loan forgiveness programs dating back to the 90s are cruel jokes. 99% rejection rate. In fact, 99.99% rejection rate for some of the older so-called income contingent repayment programs. And I also threw in a side point, that the Department of Education and the experts in and around the Department of Education had 10 years to see this coming with public service loan forgiveness. They knew nobody was going to be getting this forgiveness. They knew it for years, and they did nothing. Nobody did anything. And I probably should have named some names here, but some very respected people out there saw this coming, and they did nothing. Mark Kantrowitz, Deanne Lunin, others. But I didn't mention names, so I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole right now. But, the end result of that third fact, the overwhelmingly obvious conclusion to draw, is that the Department of Education is not administering these programs in good faith. They're administering these programs in the worst of bad faith. They have no desire and, most importantly, no intentions of canceling any loans. Fourth point I made was that we now know that the class of 2004, the default rate for that class of students is 40%. And that's probably on the low end, because that's the study that found this was relying on voluntary survey data. Now, people who are in default on their loans, they don't rush out to fill out government surveys about their student loan debt. They just don't do that. So it's probably even higher than 40%. The fifth point I made was the fact that even before the pandemic, 80% of all borrowers were either unable to pay, or they were paying but their loan balance was going up. So what is any rational person to take from all these claims that I just made? And by the way, I challenged everybody on that board to vet my claims. We do not put out claims that are false. We never have, and we never will. Well, the obvious conclusion is that we are headed for a default rate among all current borrowers of something like 75, 80%, or even higher. And that was before the pandemic. So and one point I did not make, I forgot to throw this in, I should have. The default rate for subprime home mortgages was like maybe a little over 20%. So now we can say confidently that the default rate for student loans is like 4 times higher than that. So the big conclusion is that this lending system, this is not a serious issue. This is not a crisis. That was 10 years ago. This is a catastrophically failed lending system. It just is, by all metrics or measures. And if somebody wanted to provide some counterfactuals showing why an 80% default rate is not catastrophically failed, I would love to have that argument. I don't think anybody would ever rise to even try to defend that. So the two recommendations I made, number one, hopefully if you've been on this group for any length of time, you would know what they would be. Number one, bankruptcy. We've got to have bankruptcy returned to these loans. It is a necessary precondition for anything else that might happen that's good in the future. Joe Biden could do this with the stroke of his pen tomorrow by ordering his administration to stop opposing student loan borrowers in bankruptcy court. And he should do this. Joe Biden owes us. Joe Biden was in the very first committee hearings where his committee produced legislation that initially restricted bankruptcy protections. Joe Biden's got blood on his hands. He has an opportunity, an historic opportunity, to fix what he broke. And he could do it by executive order tomorrow, and he must. In fact, I demanded, and I didn't say this today, but I wrote Joe Biden a letter saying, if you don't do that, what I just said, by July 4th, then I will burn my student loan papers, and I will encourage everybody I know to do the same. And if you're sitting there on the couch, I want you to prepare to burn your student loan papers. Maybe they're not the actual documents, doesn't matter. Make a video out of it. Like, maybe do it in a really clever and creative way that would be like, you know, like production value type thing. Maybe we'll give a free t-shirt out to whoever destroys their student loans in a short video in the most creative way possible or something. But get ready, guys. You know, this lending system probably is not going to fix itself. I don't think Joe Biden is going to do that executive order that I demanded a couple weeks ago by July 4th. So that is the gauntlet that's been thrown down. So please be thinking about that. So that's the first recommendation, bankruptcy. Second recommendation I made is, what are we doing? Just cancel these loans. This lending system's done. It's vanishing into a mist of illegitimacy. And I did say that. It just is. Student loans are becoming one big national joke where nobody's going to pay. This could have a bad ending. Well, it could have a good ending, which is what I said. Biden does that thing and cancels all the loans, gets a fresh start, reinvents how we fund colleges in this country in a way that doesn't make them obscenely rich, doesn't allow them to exploit our young people, and all the other bad things that this weaponized unconstitutional lending system has done. I mean, that was basically it. I think that my very last parting shot to those fakes, those phone-it-in bureaucrats, politicos that were on the call. And I'm not saying I hate all these people. There were obviously some good people in there. In fact, most of them were probably decent, honest people. But hey, guys, we've been watching this fiasco unfold for decades. So I'm not going to give any credit to any of the dinosaurs that have shepherded this crisis to where it is today. I actually followed a couple of people, some president of some for-profit college, I'm not even sure, his last name Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, don't know. Can't even remember the name of his college. I think it may have been in New York. And also, I followed the head president or something, CEO, president of the American Federation of Teachers, Randy Weingarten. But you can see the testimony for yourself. I will post at least my little bit here on this live stream as soon as I'm done here right now. I'm not sure if okay. Good, I am broadcasting. I can't see my little live stream on the thing, so I can't see your comments, and I'm sorry about that. Let me give it one more refresh, see what I can figure out here. But the very last thing I said, guys, this lending system is vanishing into a mist of illegitimacy, and you people at the Department of Education and you so-called experts, you had better inculcate that fact, or your career is going to also vanish along with this lending system into a mist of illegitimacy. that was how I finished. I only had 5 minutes. I think I packed quite a lot in. Missed a couple of points. Thing about the subprime home mortgage default rate would have been strong. Thing about the government profiting on defaulted loans would have been super strong. Kind of kicking myself that I wasn't able to fit that in, but 5 minutes, guys. It goes by quick. So I did my best. I tried, and I hope that you all are pleased. And more than that, I hope that I still can't see the comments. I hope that I'm giving you guys a little bit of confidence out there to get up and do this stuff on your own, because I'm just one guy. And anybody can make those 5 points that I just made. Rewind this video. They're very simple points. Anybody can. Everybody should. This is your problem. These are your loans. We are a grassroots organization. We don't have $1 million budget. We don't have staff. We don't have a marketing department. In fact, on any given day, we probably have 200 or 300 normal people, just like you and me, volunteering their time and their effort. And sorry, guys, but that's not nearly enough. We will be overwhelmed by the swamp in Washington, D.C., with only 200 or 300 people stepping up and doing these very simple things. This is a compelling story that we have to tell, folks. You need to shake off whatever is holding you back. Our opposition loves it when you sit back and wait and watch and worry and do nothing. They love that. Don't give them the pleasure. You got to fight. And that's always been true. So, okay, guys. Well, hopefully this will show up on the group. I don't see it, but I'm seeing some comments. So apparently some people can see it, but I cannot. So hang in there. Spread the word about our petition, about those first 2 points that I made. Get those 2 points to a reporter. This stuff needs to be disseminated nationally in the media. This is what's going to win us this battle, guys. It really is. But again, I hope you're pleased. Oh, last thing I'll say is if you can donate at this time, please do so. We need to raise on the order of like $680 or something like that by the end of the month. So if 13 people donated $50, if 26 people donated $25, you know how the math works. We'd be right there. So we can fight this fight on very little. We cannot fight this fight on nothing. So if you could please go to the website, studentloanjustice.org, throw in a couple bucks. Very helpful. Thanks to everybody who's been pitching in recently. It's been very tight on the fundraising. So enough said. With that, I will just wish you all a good luck in your efforts. Let us know how we can help. We are here to help in your efforts, but it's got to start with you. Godspeed. And I'll be back on Friday. Ed will be back tomorrow. God bless everybody.